because we need to have a whole lot more activity in our own clubs. So thank you, Kitty. I hope I answered your question. I didn't talk too much.
Yeah, no, that's very important, and I'm very interested in hearing from the others as well regarding the format.
Good. Robin, did you have a quick question?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if I understood correctly. I thought when you said you meet live once a month, but I mean in person, or is it everything online?
Everything's, no. We talk to each other via phone. Sometimes we talk to each other through Zoom, just one-on-one or one or two, or we get 3 or 4 of the board members together. We got a problem. We'll put them on Zoom. We're Zooming each other quite often because it just seems to be much more enjoyable to be talking to the people face to face when we are working on particular projects in our club.
So you don't meet in person?
No. Well, yes, we do. From time to time over the years, we've met as many as we can in South Carolina through our district. All conference clubs are that we meet once a year. And then we also have just a get together where we say, let's just all have a picnic in Greenville, South Carolina. And then people come as Fayetteville, North Carolina, from Florida, Georgia, or whatever. And they come and have the whole afternoon with us. And then we Zoom it out to all of our members. And last year we had about 14 people on a big picnic. And we started talking to our friends in India. He showed his dog to us, his 2 dogs, his 3 children, and we had a blast. It was really nice. And we talk to our Russian friends quite often. We get around, and every once in a while, Bill Boyd will jump on and keep up with us. So,
hey, AMC, if I can add to that, this is John. This is second time around being a member of eclub of Carolinas. And during the time of the international conference in Atlanta, I was in a Terra Club in Greenville. And the E-Club had a very strong presence in Atlanta. And the club awarded 2 Paul Harris Fellows. There was a gathering probably of 20 members in front of Josh the Otter. And I've got to say, I felt more welcome by my former, now still current E-Club than I did in my own Terra Club at the International Conference in Atlanta.
MC, let me just step in here and try to clarify this meeting situation. Our bi-monthly meetings, the 1st and the 15th, those are posted on our website, and those are our required meetings to be an E-Club. Anybody can access those meetings 24/7. The Tuesday afternoon Zoom meetings are voluntary, and that's, we call it our fellowship hour. And we discuss anything, as MC said, but on the 3rd Tuesday of every month, we actually have a program. It's still voluntary, but it's an organized program. So that's kind of our meeting setup. The web page has the official 2 meetings a month, and then the Tuesday fellowship hours are just that, for fellowship.
MC?
Paul, do you have anything more to say? We can move on to Andrew.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
MC, before you move on, just wanted to let you know, I think from what I see at the controls, the record button is on. And if I looked by Robin's name, it says REC. So there's a good chance that this is being recorded.
Yes, I got it fixed. I made Robin know.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, I did it on my phone, so I want something good.
Yeah, this is being recorded now.
Awesome. So everybody, look your best, and you're on the air.
Well,
And
with that being said, Andrew, you've got the floor. Go to it.
thank you, MC. And I didn't have time for the hairdresser today, so pardon me. That's
Well,
why my head
excuse
is-
me about the hair.
Oh,
Check
that's
this out.
really, I like that. That's nice. You know, remember our friend, and you know his name, at Pets. You know, when he does the breakfast and he has a Rotary symbol on his bald head.
Yes, he's out of
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Gary probably knows who he is. He says, "Good morning."
Yes.
Remember?
Good morning. Right.
And Gary probably knows that real well. So if you could be half asleep at 7:45, you get in there. I mean, I've seen so much coffee splash, scrambled eggs on the floor because people just jump up and through the roof. He's great. And in fact, maybe we need him at some of our eclub online Zoom meetings. So maybe that's something to get for a guest speaker. But with that being said, welcome everybody. I have to say, on behalf of Rob and myself, this is the end of my first year as president of the eclub of Southeast USA and the Caribbean, 6950. And I must say, this is the largest meeting I've been on for a long time. So, I mean, to see a window full of people, of Rotarians, is pretty exciting. And, you know, maybe I could screenshot this, paste it, we can put it up on our website, and maybe it'll get some people to sign in and get involved. So I'm excited about that. But that being said, our club's been around, I think, for about 7 years. I think, Robin, 2011, if I'm not mistaken. I'm the current president, and you're looking at the illustrious past president and secretary, Mr. Robin Foley. So Robin comes to us from Ireland. I'm surprised he's not having a little drink tonight, and maybe he is. I think he might have it hidden down there somewhere. Robin's smiling over there. But we have a club, about 26 members, and like you all said, from Florida, Georgia, the Caribbean, Dominica, Germany. We've had a member from Australia. So like you all, we have members coming and going from pretty much all over the world. One good thing, we have our online meetings. We usually do one big meeting a month. We have a board meeting too, usually a week or so after that. But one good thing that our incoming, membership chair did, and she is a woman, which is great, but she brought in a young Rotarian, a generation Xer, and I think, or in this case, probably a millennial. And she's great. She does our weekly meetings. She puts them together. She's done all kinds of great things, and it's from a young angle. You know, I can't talk for Robin, but you know, I'm getting up there a little bit. Robin's a youngster. Let me get my water. But it's great to have a couple young people in the club, and it's really been hard. You know, going to PETS, going to the international conventions. Our incoming president elect, international president elect, which I'm happy to say was from my former district, 6990. So it's really nice to have our incoming RI president from former district. But you know, in the last several years, we've been really looking to get younger Rotarians involved. I mean, obviously, we are interested in Rotaract and whatever, but this is something that's really great to have that young person chiming in every week with helping out with the meetings and with the agenda, and coming with some really great programs, because she really is our program director. So that's really, really great. One big thing, I'm going to turn it over to Robin in a minute, because Robin's going to talk to you about some of the incredible projects we've done, and one in particular that several of you have heard about, but I'm just going to let you all be hanging in suspense for a minute or two before I turn over to Robin. And one thing I'm working on as the current president, I'm also a professor at Lynn University in Boca Raton, Florida, which is a pretty well-known private University. One thing we're going to looking into, and I've talked to the president of the university and the vice president of student affairs, and they're interested in, and we're looking into doing probably one of the first ever eclub Rotary clubs, which will be sponsored by our club, and we're even looking possibly into a club in Boca Raton, on-ground club, to get involved too. But this is really interesting because it's something that I think time has come. And Gary, probably, several of you probably know John Smarts, who is our incoming assistant to our the president, our new Rotary international president. I know John from years, again from 6990, and obviously he was director 33 and 34. I just think a couple years ago. But I mentioned this to John, and he was interested, certainly on RI level. He said that they have looked into this before, but you know, kids weren't all that involved. And I asked him when. He said it was several years ago. As I said, I'm talking now to university students, and this is really what they want to do. My students I also teach online, and this is really what they want to do. And really, they love the idea of being part of Rotary and also Rotary Club and having part of it online. So the point of it could be blended, where also they'll have tasks and things to do with an on-ground club, as I said, possibly Boca Raton club. But I'm really excited to see where this goes, working it through our district. And as I said, I'm trying to get John involved. I did briefly mention it to our incoming RI president, who certainly sounded interested, and he wanted me to email him through John and to let them know how they can help. So it's something, again, that if you all would have some interest or whatever, or perhaps want to get involved, or at least give us, you know, your input and whatever, we would love to do that. Because again, if this takes off, it could be something that certainly other clubs could do, you know, with Rotary actors, you know, really around the world. So it's really something we're looking into. I think we'll try to kick that off in our next Rotary fiscal year, starting July 2018. So with that being said, I'd really like to turn it over to Robin. Robin's going to tell you a little bit more about what we do, but I really want him, I've saved the best for last, certainly for our club, because Robin wants to share something really, really exciting that he spearheaded this last year. It might bring a couple tears to your eyes, but it's something that we really believe in. And again, when you hear this from Robin, this is what we all live and strive for as Rotarians. So let me turn it over to Robin. And Robin, you want to talk about a few things we've done and our special project.
Thanks, Andy. We do a whole bunch of giving to like S4TL. We sponsor students. We contribute $600 a year to the exchange, overseas exchange students. We give the toys for tots. We do a whole bunch of little things like that. But a major project we got into by accident because I got stuck in Hurricane Maria in Dominica. Some of you are aware of that. And local club here in Pensacola decided we should make a little video of my experience, which I did. And we worked to use that as a fundraiser to raise disaster relief money for Dominica. The initial intent was to replace fishermen's fish pots because 85% of the housing was devastated. Most of the hotel rooms were out of commission and still are. The economy was flat on its back, and we thought maybe help get the fishermen going. Local club in Portsmouth, we were working with, they did a pilot, but it nearly killed them because half their members were staff and faculty at the Ross Medical University in Dominica, and they were all evacuated. So they were down to just the locals, and every one of them had injuries, damage, loss of property, loss of roofs, the whole bit. So we couldn't do a big project down there, and a local school where we do a secondary school scholarship, they lost their roof, they lost all their stuff. They lost a computer room with 20 laptops in it. So we talked about replacing the computer room and replacing it with notebooks rather than big desktops. And we're partnering with the Rotary Club in Roseau in Portsmouth, and a Rotarian in Roseau Club in Dominica is the director of IT for the government, and all computer stuff going to schools has got to go through her. So she has actually written the proposal for us, and we're replacing 20 laptops, 20 notebooks, and the whole big screen and teachers' software, and it's coming out to about $13,800, and we're down to the last $500. So we're ready to roll with that project. It's new technology for Dominica, and this lady is quite excited about it. Hans Schilders, the incoming president down there, was at their district conference in Suriname last week, and they're going to use this project as they can scale it up for other schools in the island, and they're going to start looking for clubs around the world to help them fund. So if anybody is interested in a project down there, certainly I'll be able to help them get into this to help students in Dominica, because education is the key for these guys. So
and also if anybody has or would like to help with that last $500, I mean, this is not eradicating polio, but it's close. And getting those 20 laptops to those kids who might be literally doing it without a roof, or pretty much, we would love any help. So if you have any little change in your budgets for the year or whatever, we'll definitely get your Robin's email.
Yeah,
that would be really great that we could put it to bed.
Yeah, if you have anything unspent at the end of the year, $25, 50, 100, it'll get us there. Some of our members have kicked into the fund very generously, and we had one anonymous donation up here in the Pensacola area for $5,000. So, and we've had a club up in Indiana provide us $1,000. So it's a pretty neat project, and we'll keep you all posted about it. I'll send an email out with an attachment, some video links, and if you're feeling anyway generous, you can send me a check.
And Robin, you want to mention real quick about the Remembrance Tree? I know you do that every year too with one of the local clubs, and I know probably some of the other clubs do that. I know you do it more with the ground, because having a virtual remembrance tree is a little bit difficult. But you might mention you've done that a couple years for one of the on-ground clubs, I know.
Yeah, we have done a Rotary Tree of Remembrance here in Pensacola. We do it in the mall. And first year we did it, we raised 3,000. Then next year we did 7, then we did 9, then we did 11. And last year we got put in a food court and the traffic was miserable and we were down to about 4,000. So whether we continue in that area or not is debatable. But this project, it provides people with a way to remember a loved one at Christmas time, whether they're overseas or passed away, by writing their name on a ribbon. And they put it on our tree of remembrance, and they take pictures putting it on the tree of remembrance, and they make a donation, any donation. But this idea for us originated in my hometown in Cork in Ireland, where they have one in the Times Square of Cork City. They raised about $60,000 in 3 weeks, but they've been at it for 14 or 15 years now, and it's a tradition. It's a labor-intensive project. It's a high visibility project for Rotary. We have 12 clubs in the metro area in Pensacola. All their members come to help us. We have Rotaract kids involved in it, and we have Interact from the high schools as well. So it's a high visibility thing for Rotary, and can be a good moneymaker, but staffing it is an issue. But it's a great project. Okay.
So thanks, MC. That's us, and thanks for listening to us. And we'll turn it back over to you and hear from some of the other e-clubs.
Thank you very much. Very well presentation. Thank you. Our next on agenda is Diane, who's with the Mountain State Rotary Club. Tell us a little bit about your club, Diane,
Hi, thanks.
or a whole lot about it.
Yeah. Well, this is very exciting. I see we have 17 participants online tonight, and that's what we have right now in our e-club in terms of membership. We've ebbed and flowed over the years. We started in 2012, and we have members now from 5 different states. We're called the Mountain State E-Club because that's West Virginia's nickname, is the Mountain State. And so we also have members in North Carolina, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, all of whom have ties to the Mountain State or to District 7530, where we're located. We also have about a quarter of our members right now who are in their 20s, so we're very excited about that. I was never a member of a Terra Club. I've only known the E-Club. I was a charter member of this club just because of my travel schedule. And that's really what's attracted our young people as well, is that their schedules are such that, they can't necessarily make regular meetings. And so we're excited that we have 4 in their 20s, 3 of whom are university students. We also have a quarter of our members who were Paul Harris Fellows. So we were excited to learn about that recently. We have our meetings much like the Carolina clubs, bi-monthly, twice a month. We post them online, and then every month we have an executive board meeting where we invite all of our members to attend via conference call, where we conduct our business. And about 2 or 3 times a year we get together in person for anyone who's in the area who can join us, or if they want to join us via Skype or Google Hangout or Zoom, they're allowed to and able to join us that way as well. In terms of service projects, education was really the key in our strategic plan this year. And so we have supported the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and we have collected new and gently used children's books, and we put the sticker in the front that says provided by Mountain State Rotary E-Club, and have bookmarks that have the 4-way test, which we think is important to expose young people to that. And we are disseminating them through area food banks so that when mom and dad come in to get food, they can also pick up a book for one of their children, or if the children are with them, they're able to go over and pick up a book. So that's something a little bit different that we've done. And then we've supported our local Rise Against Hunger. We joined with 6 other local Rotary clubs, and together, it was just 3 weekends ago now, there were 7 clubs altogether that participated, and we packaged 30,000 meals with those 7 clubs. So those were our primary service activities this year. I love the idea of the fellowship meeting. And I really, I want to incorporate that. It sounds like you guys are really doing it right there in the Carolinas. We can learn a lot from you. But that's been, primarily our mission so far, is just trying to build a solid core of contributing members. And as I said, right now we're up to about 17, and we have a lot of enthusiasm moving forward. And I am so excited to be part of this gathering here today.
Diana, I love the background. I mean, it sounds like you're in the back of your house. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I am in the back of my house. Thank you.
I mean,
with my dog here. You can see her.
It looks like what a great place to have a meeting, even if it's virtual. So, thank you for inviting us all to your backyard. And
thank you so much.
And now we'll barbecue, and Gary's in the car getting ready to come over, so we're fine.
There you go. Yes, come on.
That's a great report. Someone's got music playing in the background.
Yeah, I do. I'll mute. It's very nice. It's soothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Andrew, you can mute when, there you go. Thank you. Well, Diane, thank you so much for your time. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
We do have a really good time in fellowship hour.
Yes, I'm going to bring that up at our next meeting. Yes,
do that.
Into our strategic plan.
If you really get bored, just dial into us on Tuesday night.
I like it.
How much fun we do have.
Oh, so. I will. I usst to live in North Carolina, so I'll fit right in.
Okay, that's good. Next person I have on our agenda is Mayra. I believe I'm pronouncing it right. The club from Costa Rica. Are we here tonight? Evidently not. Okay. And Peter Danuni, he's out of the Canadian.
MC, are you sure that said Costa Rica?
Yeah, but mine says, I didn't say Puerto Rico, sorry.
Okay.
Not Costa Rica, Puerto Rico.
I was going to say, I'd like to know if there's an e-club in Costa Rica.
Well, no, we're not going to tell you about it. I guarantee you. We're going to keep you.
MC, I know she was on the call, a couple weeks ago. I think she was on the call and so forth. I think she was from calling at that time from Texas, so maybe she had a problem getting on tonight.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. I'm sorry that she can't be with us, and then we had Canadian One District, and Peter. I don't recognize his face on here tonight. He's not here. He's a very interesting guy. If you ever get a chance to talk with him, you'll have a lot of fun talking to him as a Rotarian.
Well, I'm sorry, but I've been here for quite some time already.
Oh, well, you need to speak up, Peter.
I got my glasses off.
Okay.
I got my glasses off.
Thank you. I'm sorry I overlooked you.
No, that's fine. I came in late because I was talking to the East Wisconsin Club earlier today. The East Wisconsin E-Club as well. So if you don't mind, I have a presentation, so I'll share my screen with you. First of all, when you look at my picture and you see the wires there behind it, I am not in jail. I am in the Dominican Republic, not in Dominica, but in the Dominican Republic. And I spent a lot of my time on the balcony, which is my office. And of course, then there is this steel that is all over the place because people can otherwise steal things too. So anyway, I'm glad to be here. I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation, and let me get it up here. My name is Peter Denoy, and I'm a member of the Rotary E-Club of Canada 1. And here's a map of Canada, and we are in District 5370. And District 5370 is the northern half of the province of Alberta, some of British Columbia, some of Saskatchewan, and all of Northwest Territories. So it's a large area. I think it's one of the largest geographical districts in the world. However, that's not a big deal. We can handle it all, especially now that we have some e-clubs as well. Our e-club was chartered in February of 2013, and there is our charter president is Ali Contreras, who is currently in attendance at this meeting as well. And so they organized, I joined the club about 2 years ago, but they organized a meeting in the president's office in Evanston, and things have been recorded, etc. However, technology has moved forward considerably in 5 years, but we do have a record of that particular meeting, which is posted on our YouTube channel. Our membership is currently just under 30, and we are throughout Canada. We have a couple of people in Europe, Central America, United States. We have one member who is just across the border. And as we talked about meeting, whenever somebody is in a particular area, we try to get together with the Rotarians, the members that are there. We call them iPods. And so then take a picture, post it, and say, hey, listen, we met one-on-one. When he had Ali, as a matter of fact, was coming back from Mexico, and there was a snowstorm in Calgary, but Jean-Michel traveled through there, and they had lunch and had a wonderful time. It's important that we have the face-to-face when that is at all possible. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention is that our past president, Jim Ferguson, is district governor nominee and will be district governor in 2020, 2021. As far as we know, he's the first E-Club member who will be a district governor. And I couldn't resist this, but the theme for the district conference has already been chosen and can be nothing but Vision 2020, obviously. You'll hear more about it in the future about that as well. Our club meets weekly online, and we have a website, and that is where every week topics are being posted on there. Stories are being told. There is a greeter. There are, fun things and serious things. And all members are to attend that weekly meeting if they can, minimum half an hour, 45 minutes, report the meeting with a jot form, and then immediately get recognition of that. And guests can come, do makeup meetings, and get that information back so they can take it to the secretary if they have to replace that. We get, one of the things that Google does is record where guests are from. And so here's over 50,000 page views. Don't, make sure it's page views. So every time you click on that and go to the website, it becomes a red dot. And so there's some big red dots. And this is the one in Dominican Republic, because every time I go on the website, it becomes a dot too. So if you really want to show that you have lots of people, you can do that Chinese lady thing and just go and hit the button and keep visiting on a regular basis. But Rotarians wouldn't do that now, would they? One of the things that guests are expected to do, as well as members are expected to do, is make a donation towards the club, and in lieu of a meal and that kind of thing. So we have some numbers here of an average of about $15 per visiting guest that is being made. So that is part of a fundraiser, and the membership makes donations as well. Every 3 months, we pull a name of one of the people that attended, and that person will get Rotary Foundation credit towards their Rotary Foundation numbers. We obviously have, because of the website, chance to get feedback from the members, from people that attend, and very informative, and it gives you also an idea of how well you're doing and if there's things that you can change or not. We have our monthly fellowship assemblies, and but during those we can have speakers from around the world. We can have classification talks. We can have the fellowship as well, and we record those on our YouTube channel. And interestingly, we had in March a fellowship assembly where we invited young professionals to give us their idea of why they, what we need to do in order for them to become members of Rotary, to join. Very interesting meeting, and you can all go and watch it if you want to do that. So all our fellowship classifications and everything else that we find important is posted on our YouTube channel. We have weekly coffee chats, and every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock we have that. What happens is that we get the same people coming because Thursday mornings at 8 o'clock, certain people, and Alberta time, 10 o'clock Eastern, is much, limited to that. So we've talked about it to possibly make some changes and add a beer talk or a beer chat or a wine chat or something like that, different time, different day, and announce that and have people drop in. And this is the purely same thing that you do at a weekly Terra meeting, where you sit down, and before you sit down you chat and talk about other things and different things and how individuals are doing, and you'll get to know each other better. Over the years, we've been involved with quite a few projects, the Alliance for Smiles, Shelter Box, RILA. We have a very active RILA district, RILA committee, youth committee, and so we sponsored it. Yes, Diane, we are also doing the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, specifically for the Northwest Territories, the Inuit children. And this is an ongoing project where we have cooperation from other clubs and donations from other clubs as well. We've been involved with the El Salvador Literacy Project. We are have just finished the Subirana Water Project, a $94,000 project to provide fresh water with a new pipe through a duck channel up to the mountain for this particular village that had no fresh and running water. Last year, Canada was 150 years old, and our club gave $150 to each local project that a Rotarian member organized. And so we did different things here in the Dominican Republic. I can buy a lot of rice for $150. And we donated that to a senior citizens home that relies solely on donations for everything, including their food as well. And so very interesting and rewarding project. Project Amigo, again, something Ellie is very much involved in, is in Mexico, where there's schooling is done, students are helped. We have a particular student that we sponsor, and they offer also participation for Rotarians to come with facilities to be there and spend a week helping the community there with Project Amigo. A very interesting and rewarding visit and trip to Mexico. We've had a project that in India with a school for disadvantaged children, where we had money to pay the teacher, where we had money to buy food and school supplies for the children in a very poor area of that country. We shared with another club an youth exchange student. Difficult to do as an e-club, obviously, but last year, Kevin came and attended several times, made his presentations to our clubs like you do at a Terra Club, and something that we can do probably more off as well. But it takes, again, some organization. We have a member, Vicky, right here, who lives in Guatemala, has a foundation there to help create opportunities for Guatemalans, work in school education as well. And again, we are supporting her with that also. A lot of projects that have happened over the years. And again, there's nothing more rewarding than that. But the better you do working with other clubs, the more you can do as well. For Polio Day, we teamed up with the other Canadian e-clubs and had a march across Canada. We had a 5-hour Zoom session, and we started in the Atlantic time zone and worked our way all the way across for 1 hour every time with the program, with presenters to British Columbia, where in British Columbia was the time where the Niagara Falls was lit up with the Rotary colors, and that was beamed into our meeting. Again, you can, it is something that was recorded, and you can watch online as well. We are planning and working together with about 10 different e-clubs on a breakout session in Toronto, best practices for e-club. Watch the program, and it is on Monday at the first one at 1 o'clock, and we'll have a large room available, and we will have some interesting presentations again. It will be recorded because it will be Zoom based, and I hope to have it online within 24 hours after we've done that. Now, last thing I want to show you is a program we have in Canada that involves money. Yes, it's Canadian money, but eventually we can convert it to US dollars as well. And I want to show you how significant a number we can contribute with that. The government of Canada has, in work with the Rotary Foundation of Canada, put aside $6 million, $1.2 million for 5 years, with money that's not being used, being rolled over into the next year. And so I will show you how the dollars work, and then the questions, will come after that, no doubt. So you have a project in the United States with your US club. You raise $10,000. You have district designated money, funds available as well. And so you have a $35,000 project. Now, if you can get a Canadian club to help you to participate, that club puts in $10,000. It's all US dollars. Put in $10,000. And the district that club is in puts in $10,000. You now have $100,000. A significant number that I think is worthwhile exploring, get connections with clubs in Canada, and we can make them aware. Of course, there are rules and regulations on that, but the money is there. It has been underused. I've been told that next year we'll probably have about $2 million available that can be used. So want to keep bring that up, that we can always use more money, like we heard earlier. Well, thanks very much. That's in a nutshell about what our club is about, and we're growing, and we have newer members that are coming in. And yes, leave it open for questions if there's any questions or discussion that we can have and can have after this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Very nice presentation. And it is time for open discussion on our program, particularly if we want to talk about fundraising projects. And if there's any other clubs that would like to talk about their fundraising projects, it's a good time to talk about it. So don't be bashful. Speak up and let us know.
This is Gary. I threw in $100 for the project in Dominica. I think I've seen 3 or 4 of you also contribute.
Thank you, everybody. That is so nice. On behalf of Robin and I, we just can't thank you enough. And those kids getting those 20 laptops, I mean, it's going to mean so much to them and their education this year. So I can't thank you enough, everybody.
Andrew, let us know how we get that money to you.
I put Robin's email in the chat box, so email Robin. He's smiling. He's so happy. Just a quick thing. You know, Robin was stranded over there. I know we talked about this once, but real quick, Robin was stranded. He literally hid under a bed at the bed and breakfast of a friend of his. I think the roof caved in. He was, helping people in the streets. One woman was wandering aimlessly. People, they lost their houses. Robin, we didn't know where he was. We literally contacted the State Department. Nobody, his wife, didn't know where he, had not heard from him. He was evacuated with the Ross students from the United States State Department and the military about 3 days later. I mean, we were all in tears when he came back, and his wife, we promised his wife he would never go anywhere again. But I mean, just what he went through. Remember, this was giving, he went over there to give this give this gift to one of the kids getting that laptop, and he was literally stuck there. And as a Rotary, as a Paul House fellow and a man who never says no, he was literally helping everybody clean the streets and help them get back into their places. I mean, he got obviously the Rotary Person of the Year award last year in our club. So I know talking to Robin puts goosebumps and makes me cry. But I mean, I've never seen in 40 years of Rotary somebody do so much for so many in such a short period of time. So God bless you all, and God bless Robin.
Thanks a million, guys. I just got to tell you, my wife, when she hadn't heard from me for 3 days, I learned she was planning on selling my Lazy Boy and my SUV and getting a decent car. That'll tell you how it went down up here. I'll send you a link to the video presentation we did and some other interesting links that if you have the time, you can have a look at them to everybody, as well as the recording for the link for this meeting. Yeah.
Peter, John Kimball, I have a question. Do you have any joint projects with clubs in Chile? And the reason I ask, I am departing for Santiago, Chile for 12 months, just three months from now. I've been there many, many times, and I'll be looking to be making some connections with clubs there. Our immediate past district governor was there for about 2 weeks in February. He's already teed up some opportunities.
No, we don't have any connections that I know of. Ali, maybe you may know because you have a Chilean connection, but I don't know whether that's an actually Rotary connection for that matter.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been. My husband is from Chile, but he was a group study exchange team leader in Chile, and he still has contact with those people. But if you like, you can send me email address and anything specific that you. He's done also a project in Santiago, or just outside of Santiago, I believe, with microcredit. So,
But we don't have anything actively
Nothing currently.
connected, John. No.
that I know of. No.
Okay, Ellie, I posted my email in the chat. If you could send me an email, I'd like to make some connections.
Okay, sure.
Gracias.
I would like to point out that the Butterfly Book project is available on Amazon.com. It's a great project. Check it out on Amazon. And is Ben still here? Maybe you could talk about the walk of service a little bit.
Sure, I'd be glad to, Jim. This is really from a fundraising standpoint. We built what we called a walk of service, our Rotary walk of service. The primary goals was to provide each member a platform to engage and have a hands-on part in funding and making our project commitments for that Rotary year happen. No matter where you find yourself residing at any point in time. So the walk of service is really a virtual walk, and we ask members to take 1,000 steps in service of others. And we provide the marketing collateral that articulates our 5 committed service projects to friends, colleagues, neighbors, anybody in your orbit. The lady down the hall that hits you up when her son's selling wrapping paper or her daughter's selling cookies and all that kind of stuff, to call those chips due. And so the bottom line was last year was our first year push out on that initiative, and we exceeded our goal last year. And this year, our second time around, we're a little more aggressive on it. We completed, we funded everything that we had committed, but we were, we were hoping to build on the amount of participation. It settled in about the same. You're about 60+%, not quite 2/3 of membership engaged and participated in that particular function. But we have been able to do a couple of things: engage the members, and then from a standpoint of promoting the walk in various ways. And we created a template actually that would allow members to ask for a nickel a step or a quarter a step, and gave them some different denominations that they could make that thing easy. And or some members, maybe would rather write a check, but do that in honor of a particular friendship, or maybe a mentor who inspired them along the way, and reach out and let that person know, hey, I'm doing this on behalf of our friendship or in memory of my grandfather, as you may articulate to a family member, and how they inspired me to do something for others, and I want to give back, and this is what our club is doing for others. So try to make that, close the loop on those types of relationships, and put Rotary front and center with the highlight on the specific service projects that we're doing. So that's our walk of service. We'll culminate this walk with a Zoom celebration, walk of service celebration call, in which we'll have that actually staged as our third Thursday presentation in this June. So we'll cap our Rotary year off by asking everybody in the club to save that date, come in, and the ones that had hands-on with our service projects to give a full first-hand accounting, and everybody that participated in a walk will have their story to share. So that's probably more, and I'm sorry for rambling on it, Jim, but I appreciate the opportunity to share. It's our walk of service initiative with our club, and it's been fun so far.
Thank you very much, Ben.
MC, I'd like to share what we've just initiated at eclub, but also at the district level. I'm currently district membership chair in 7750. And one of the things we've come to the recognition of is that eclub, wherever it may be, provides a unique opportunity to retain members that may not be able to stay in a Terra club. regardless of what their life circumstance is. So we have just launched, MC sending out a letter to all, was it MC, all president-elects?
Correct.
Gary just sent out to all president nominees a communication that if you're about to lose a member only because they can't keep up with a regular fixed Terra meeting and they want to stay connected to Rotary, send them over to us in eclub and we'll retain them as a member. So that's just something we're just launched. I sent out a P-mail through DACDB 2 days ago. There's a club here in South Carolina that's closing down, which happens, that's reality, and sent a P-mail to all of its members saying, you know, some of you are going to transfer to another fixed club, and that's great. You'll enrich that club, but don't leave Rotary. Stay with us. Stay in eclub. You can still participate in service, fundraising, fellowship locally, but stay connected in Rotary. So something to think about is e-Rotaries, is how we can play such a unique role in retention.
Another point being is how many of you, your e-clubs are quite active with your local Terra clubs. Most of you, as you did your presentation, you all have basically spoken about you do work with and closely coordinate some of your things with your local Terra club. And that's wonderful. That's what we need to do, as John was just talking about. We need to keep up with the people that really want to be stay a Rotarian. Anybody got any comments on their activities with their Terra clubs that we haven't already discussed?
I got to ask Diana, having gone to college in West Virginia, how many of your clubs have ramp dinners in April?
I don't know. None here in our local region do, but I'm sure there are clubs who must.
Got to have that all good beans, cornbread, and ramps in the springtime.
That's right. Yeah.
Ramps, for those of you who don't know, they're what, wild onions, basically?
Yes, but much stronger than your.
Much stronger. You don't want to be around anybody for about 3 days after they've had them.
That's right.
Does anybody?
MC?
Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, about your question about visiting, to other clubs. I want to add to that. I think many Rotarians in this world are not even aware of e-clubs. Well, they may be aware, but they have no clue what's involved and how much it can be. So it is important that we go around and visit the Terra clubs, just because we are now just a club too. And pretty soon there won't be any e-club search area anymore. People may have that on RI because we are just like a regular club. In following the Toronto Convention, I will be going west, and we will be spending 2 months in Western Canada, and a man has to eat. So I am offering myself to the clubs in those areas to present, and then I can eat at the same time. But it gives us a chance to tell what we can do, how we can make people aware of e-clubs, and it's the same. It's the same. Still educating our own Rotarians about e-clubs, for that matter, too. Very important.
And you have a very good presentation to take with you.
And of course.
Yeah, but that's only part. I can do many other ones because I also have a presentation of pictures of only in the Dominican Republic. And so that will be quite a funny talk too.
Interesting.
MC, this is Gary. I can't highlight that enough. Had I not visited our Sunrise Club, the clubs in Florida where I live now, we probably would have never heard of John Kimball. And he's made such an impact by emphasizing the E-Club in our district.
Don't fall asleep there, John. Gary's probably going through a zone now where it's in dead space.
And John, you can answer this. I might, if not, it might be a benefit to the other clubs to work on this infrastructure in their respective districts. But the task force that you represent and serve on in our district, John, is that a staple in all districts of Rotary?
Unmute, John. John, unmute.
We can't hear you, John. We can't hear you.
You're muted.
Gary, thanks, Ben. Sorry, I didn't mute. What we're doing in District 7750 preceded me. And I came up from Fort Myers, Florida, where Gary is. He used to be up here, but he introduced me to eclub in the summer of 2013 when I was traveling a great deal as a caddy for 2 summers for a lady professional golfer. And then he sponsored me an eclub. What I found when I came up here that Gary introduced me to was a cross-section of 3 district governors that created intentional strategies about membership development. That so many clubs just go at it part-time, not very assertive, and it's very poor sales work. And so we've created a template for intentional strategies. I was a counselor for a year to clubs that were in trouble, and I'll give you the best example. The club that was 53rd out of 53 last year, losing 17 members, is number 1 in the district this year, gaining 12 members year to date and back on track growing. It's simply because great leadership, a vibrant club, and using intentional strategies, building the prospect pipeline all the time. That's a very quick thumbnail sketch. Anybody that wants to know any more details about it, I can link you to our information. My email, I think, is already posted in the chat. But it's turned clubs around in a significant way, and including eclub. Eclub's done a great job growing its membership. It's been a club that started out, what, Gary, in 2013?
August of 2012, John.
Okay, and so eclub has been growing, but it's been growing by being very intentional about its growth.
Thank you very much, John.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any comments that they want to talk about? And right after this, I wanted to cover with everybody, how'd you like the program? Would you like to, how often would you like to join the same type of format and so forth? So give that
MC?
Not muted.
MC, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, it's Andrew. I just want to throw this out as far as new membership. And maybe I'll go back to that beautiful lawn in the Carolinas, Diana, who has getting a lot of Generation Zers, or I should say probably Xers or whatever. As I said, we found 1 or 2 in our online, in our eclub. But, you know, how do we get, you know, really good members? And again, I'm really thinking the young upcoming Rotarians, you know, out of Rotaract, people who, you know, really want to make a difference and, you know, could be a part of this, stay involved, you know, become Paul Harris Fellows, really get involved in all our service avenues. So I'll throw out to Diana and a few others because I really love what she had to say, and especially with all these new young members, many of which are women, which are great. We don't have that many. But, you know, as I said, we're 26 people. We've lost, you know, a couple. We've brought in 1 or 2, but it's just really stagnant and really getting people. I love some of the ideas you had what you're doing from the Canada One to some of the other clubs with getting people involved, and persistence is so important, and engaged. But what do we do? Because our club has been a little stagnant and just can't get people, into the meetings. I wish a couple of them had been on tonight, and I even put a note in on our webpage about the meeting tonight. Please come, listen. Even if you're not coming to our meetings, look at what a great e-club meeting is about. Nobody showed up except Robin and myself. So if you can
But
just
Andrew,
give us...
are you not asking then why are they not coming here?
Yes, and what I'm doing now, you're right. What I'm doing now is going down my call list, and I'm calling members. And then I'm also going to do a poll. But I'm calling them. I've started to do it. And some people, it could be the wrong day for the meetings. Some are not challenged. Some are thinking about going to terror clubs or whatever. And that's fine. As long as they're not leaving Rotary, I don't care. I'd rather them go to a club or a format they're interested in and perhaps leave our club than really leave Rotary. Because that is something that I would have a problem with. But you're right, I'm calling them and whatever, but just really trying to get these people involved and committed. So if any of you have some other ideas or whatever, that would be great. As I said, I was just so enthused to see all the faces here tonight. And boy, I'd love to see a day where we had these 10, 15 faces at one of our meetings. It would be special. Our district governor is going to be coming on soon for a meeting, and I'm just embarrassed if we only have 5 or 6 people on the call when our governor is going to be coming and doing his meeting, his yearly meeting. So any help would be really greatly appreciated. I'm taking notes, and Robin is also listening. So anything that you could help us with would be sincerely helpful.
Jim, like for you to talk about, Jim, the way I understand it, put most of all of this together. I'm just kind of the mouthpiece for tonight, but Jim's been our major factor in putting this program together as far as I know. And I've just thoroughly enjoyed everything we've done tonight and learned so much. And we've got so much more. This is just a real fine, short look at what we're all trying to do. And we've got hours and hours or more that we could be talking to each other. We need to do it more often. We need to take notes with each other, find out what works, what doesn't work, and keep our enthusiasm up with all of us. And if everybody's thoroughly enjoyed this, think about whether you'd like to continue it, how often you'd like to have a program that we're working on right now in the format. And if you would coordinate this all through Jim, is that all right with you, Jim?
Yeah, I just want to pitch that we have a quarterly meeting for e-club presidents and past presidents and presidents-elect if they want to talk about the same kind of things, fundraisers, programs, challenges, membership. So if you're interested in participating in that, the next one's scheduled in June. Let me know and I'd be happy to invite you. I think it's a worthwhile endeavor and I'd like to continue it. So let me know if you're interested.
Andrew, one of the things that I've been doing is I've been collecting information of the e-clubs from around the world. It started about a year ago when we were looking at changing from the go-to meeting to an alternative. And are you listening to music too?
I thought I muted, so I'll mute now. But
it's great music.
I'm listening. Thanks. I'm listening to you too, so it's very soothing.
What happened is I was looking for help from RI about the e-clubs in the world with email addresses or contacting because I wanted to poll them on what they are using for their communication platform, a conference platform. Well, RI was no help. RI gave me a spreadsheet with over 300 e-clubs on there, with websites, and that's about it. And then there is the RI Club Finder. So I went to work and I contacted each and every one as I could. And I now have 282 email addresses of the e-clubs around the world. As of yesterday, there's 292 e-clubs in this world that are active. Active means they've paid money to RI, according to RI. What they do and the whole thing, that's a whole different ballgame. But I'm using that, and through my working with getting in touch with others, and Gary was one of them too, you get exposed to other clubs and you make the connections, and it is so easy to do that. And luckily I have the time to do that here on my balcony, and I spend all day on the computer and I make connections. And so I visit other clubs, I see what they're doing, I hear their problems, which are no different than our problems. We're all having the same things, but it exposes us and makes the world smaller. I'd highly recommend, to do that. And just to tell you that the interest from RI is changing. That is, I got the spreadsheet yesterday and I compared it, and a lot of the clubs that were inactive, that I couldn't even find a website, they're all out of there. Somebody has been taking some action. I wrote our director, Vice President Dean Roars, about it also, and I think it's been trickling through. The other thing is President Ian Risley will be visiting 3 e-clubs and speaking at them this month that I know of. One of them is the Francophone Club at the end of May. One of them is East Anglia, which is next Wednesday. And the other one is World Peace Club on Tuesday. So more and more do we get involvement of RI, and are more and more people exposed to that too. If you can, to join one of those other clubs, you will see. And we've had the maximum number of people in attendance on a Zoom meeting that I have attended has been about 38. That's it, not more. They talk about hundreds coming to an Ian Rice. I doubt it, but that is something that starts to come more and more. And how large a group, how effective that is, I don't know. You all know that the smaller the group, the better you get things done. You can communicate better. However, visiting and making the friends that way that happens is an awesome way to do it. And this is something that is not going to help just the e-clubs. It's going to help the districts. It's going to help the zones. In Canada, in Canada, we have in our zones, we have president's training happening already online too, which saves a ton of money, and you can get the same results as well. So this is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. We're keep working on that, and it will be just getting better and better all the time.
Peter, I just want to thank you for the leadership that you've shown. I know you reached out in that email asking what platforms we used, and I was so impressed by your eClub's 5th anniversary Zoom meeting and the highlights of all the things that you're doing, and the way you're staying in touch with other eClub members. So thank you for that. It's appreciated.
Well, yeah, not everybody thanks me around here that I spend so much time on the computer. Thank you, Diana. I'll talk to you more often.
And Peter, I'd like to stay in touch. Maybe we could get you to come and talk to our club, one of the meetings, get everybody all excited, and maybe we can get them to come on and listen. So, I mean, all of you are great speakers, and, let's get the talent around there. So I think that would be great. There could be some great speaker series going on just from the talent we have tonight from all of you. So let's keep in touch and, maybe talk to each other's clubs and what we're doing and whatever. And maybe then we can get some of our members to come on and get wowed and whatever. And thank you so much for sharing about our RI president being on. And I know our secretary was nodding his head. So we'll put that in our meeting notes. We put them up Saturday morning. And maybe some of our members will tune in to that. I don't know if it's a webinar or whatever it is with our RI president. But we'll get that information, and maybe some of our members will go on and listen to one of those presentations. But thank you so much, Peter. Very, very helpful.
Andrew, I want to follow up because we struggle with the same thing you do. We have members in our club that I have never even seen yet, and it's nearly 2 years that I'm a member. They've never been in a fellowship assembly. So, but it's up to the board to take the steps to take action on that. Ju and I can talk about it. You can phone. We can try. We have a membership chair who's been trying to phone these individuals, and they don't even answer the call. I have sent several emails, personal emails, not through Club Runner, personal emails to members of my own club, and I don't get answers. Well, if you get an email from a member of your club, the least a Rotarian can do is answer it, you know, and that's not happening. And so as far as I'm concerned, we have to shift those out and have others that can help and be enthusiastic and participant in there. But it's up to the leadership of the club to do that, and not all clubs have always strong leaders. That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Peter. Great, great. Thank you so much.
Well, in closing, any more round robins that you want to talk? Gary, if you got anything you want to contribute, go ahead. And then Robin will get you, and then Kitty and Jim, Diane and Andrew and Peter. I think most of you have pretty much closed yourselves out, but Gary, go ahead and finish up with what you have to say. Close.
MC, Gary has to stop for gas and he needs a drink.
Yeah. Well, MC, thank you. I hope you can hear me. I'm having to turn the light on the car so you can see me. But I do want to thank y'all. This has been an incredible meeting tonight and very encouraging. It helps us all when we hear what other e-clubs are doing. I suspect our problems are similar no matter where we are in the world, but it helps a lot to talk about it. So I hope we'll continue this quarterly. My thought was maybe have a focus for future meetings. So maybe talk about fundraising projects in one meeting, talk about how to grow our membership, that kind of thing. The other thing, I just wanted to thank you. I've been driving since about 1 o'clock today. It's a 10-hour drive, and my wife worries constantly about me when I'm driving, and so y'all kept me awake for a good 2 hours. I'm going to do I-95 and I-67 before this meeting ends, so thank you for keeping me awake.
Thank you very much, Gary. Appreciate it. Robin, have you got a couple of quick words? Robin? Unmute, Robin.
I think.
Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, words of thanks. Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to participate in such a lively meeting. It's like this, we'll be sharing the recording in our club meeting, and we're going to encourage people to just look at this, look at the enthusiasm that's in here, and this is what e-clubs are about. We can do it.
Thank you, Robin. Kitty, you're on the next. Go ahead, Kitty.
Well, I also want to thank you for putting this together. Jim, I gather that you were the instigator, and it's an excellent group. Obviously, there's a lot of energy, and I hope that the energy can be taken back to the clubs and try to inspire the members, because Rotary e-clubs, if you take the time to visit, as Peter says, if you go take the time to visit, you see you get to be known actually in the other clubs, but you get to see what they're doing, you get to share in their fellowship, you get to share in their projects, and it's a very instructive process. It's just wonderful. It's very Rotarian, and I love it, and this is what Rotary is. So and just one thing, we mentioned the Butterfly Storybook. There is the Butterfly Storybook. That's the 2018 version, and we started it in 2012, 12. It was a successful project before we were actually chartered as a club, and this is the 6th year. And it's stories written by ages 7 to 11, and it's on Amazon. And if you look up the Butterfly Storybook, you should see it's an intern for our group, our district 7020. It is an international project because District 7020 comprises 10 separate countries, which makes it a challenging district compared to some of the districts that I know you're from. That's very difficult to get together with the members in our club. But this is an international literacy project, which can be an international literacy project for the clubs who participate, and it becomes a fundraiser of sorts. But the nice thing is, if you are a 7-year-old and you're a published author, that's hopefully going to inspire you. And that the stories are just charming, and they're very Rotarian. So anyway, thank you very much for allowing me to join this group tonight.
Well, thank you, Katie. Jim, if you'll unmute, go ahead, Jim.
I always enjoy these. I like hearing the stories, meeting the people, hearing what's going on in the other clubs. So let me know if you're interested in doing this again later, or if you want to join the President's Council, be happy to have you come to that as well. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Diane, if you'll come on board.
Yeah, just thank you, Jim, for arranging this, and I look forward to the next meeting. Perhaps we could send out an agenda, and if we can do it by topics, and then if other e-club members have specific things that they'd like to discuss, maybe we can add that to an agenda and circulate that prior to the meeting.
That's wonderful. And you could have some candles behind you tonight, too.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew?
Yes, sir. I just want to again thank everybody for getting us. Also, for several of you have really helped to put our, to put our special project closer to bed. It's almost there, so I can't thank all of you enough for being the wonderful Rotarians you are. I was just thinking about what it would be like in 1905 in Chicago 1. Maybe sitting here with Paul Harris and having those first Rotarians sitting around at that first meeting 113 years ago. How would he ever have thought with e-clubs getting together, let alone a bunch of guys getting together for a luncheon and starting up a Chicago 1 Rotary. So, maybe 113 years later, he certainly had something right. And you know what? We're just doing a different level with technology, but we're all Rotarians. And I think Paul Harris would be pretty proud of us tonight for what we're trying to do with another generation, with technology, and with the future of the world. So I thank you all for being here. And Jim, thanks so much. And again, this was a highlight. I mean, I've been to a lot of depressing meetings in the last several months, or meetings that really didn't take place. And this really, really puts the blood back in me and has me charging through this next year as e-club president. So thank you so much, everybody.
Very good. Peter, if you'll come on board. Peter?
Thanks, MC. Yes. I'd like to thank you again for inviting me and give it a chance to tell about our club. And again, this kind of a thing happens every time to all the different meetings, that like I said, I visited different clubs. And so it happens all the time that of course we are the ones that are interested in doing it. And, but you need that also to reinforce that in order to say, listen, we're on the right track. Because we got a long ways to go. We have to convince a lot of people. We're not going to convince everybody to do that. But this is where I say, okay, every time I go to an e-club meeting, I make new friends. And I don't have many to begin with. So I'm so grateful that you guys have invited me. No, it's if you go to Toronto, Monday, 1 o'clock, room 715. And, because otherwise we have trouble finding somebody in a convention with 30,000 people. So, I look forward to seeing any of you that are going to be there. Been a pleasure being there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Ben?
Thank you, MC. I want to thank Jim. Jim, thank you for your leadership and for pulling this together and building off of the initiative that you had year before last and pushing this forward. It's been a great experience. I've been in Rotary for a long time. This was a really enjoyable session. I've made a lot of notes on my end, and I appreciate you guys for sharing. And you can save our club a few steps for sure. And I appreciate that. I hope you guys in turn got a little bit from our club. And MC, thanks for MCing, my friend. And Gary, keep it between the ditches. Be safe. See you soon.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And in closing, I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to do the four-way test. So, is it the truth?
The truth.
Is it the truth?
Fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill, better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Way to go.
That's got to be
Ring the bell.